G'day gamers! In today's video I'll be showing you another 30 plus builds I've made that you can use in your survival world. We've got IRL farms, overgrown railways, unique mine designs, and more. I also want to quickly apologize if I sound tired. We've just come back from the hospital with our newborn son. He's amazing, adorable, and perfectly healthy, and everything went really well. Alright, enough about me, let's get into the first build. Okay, so for the first 4 builds we'll be taking a look at are some IRL farms. Basically meaning just farms that exist in real life that don't really exist in Minecraft, and that's just kind of my take on it, I guess. So this first one being chocolate, as you can see, they kind of grow on these little trees that look like this, well, somewhat look like this in real life. And as you guys might know, chocolate comes from cocoa beans, so we've got them all around the place as well. And then from the reference picture I used, they had these kind of like squares in the ground with like some dirt, and they had like cocoa beans on top of them. I don't know if they like crushed them up or whatever, but yeah, we've also got a nice dirt path that runs around. We've got this cool wheelbarrow design that you'll probably see in a few of these farm builds, and we've also got some decorations around the place as well. For the next IRL farm, we have coffee, and this one is directly behind the chocolate farm. Don't worry about that. But yeah, for this one, we've used sweet berry bushes as a substitute for the actual coffee plant, because obviously that's not in Minecraft. And I've kind of set it up to be in this like field. I don't really know how to explain it, but we've got like these kind of rows of all of them that follow up the side of this hill here. We've got a whole bunch of coarse and rooted dirt around the place, and then a nice dirt path in between those as well. We've got a whole bunch of decorations like the wheelbarrow design that was in the previous one as well. We've got some logs around the place, some barrels, and just some other random stuff as well. For the next IRL farm, we have the fish farms. There's obviously meant to be fish in these, in every single square, but I'm just a lazy bastard, so I just went and added some in this square. But yeah, in real life, this is kind of how fish farms are generally laid out. Well, according to the reference I used anyway. They're just kind of in these separated areas that are kind of netted off between them. And yeah, it's just kind of a cool way to set up a fish farm if you wanted to make one of those in survival. And yeah, for the final IRL farm, we have the vineyard. And this one was made quite a while ago and with a couple of other builders. So I believe it was Ritz Builds and also Sticky Gangster that helped with this building over here. Also, I think Extra helped with this as well. And this was made probably, yeah, about 2 years ago. And then we added in this vineyard probably about a year ago at this point. This was made by myself, my wife, and also Extra Builds. And yeah, so we've pretty much got this giant field. They're all kind of separated by some nice dirt paths that go between them. And we've alternated between different leaves between all of them to give a different look, like as if they're different wine berries or whatever. But yeah, for the design for all of these, we just have a simple 2-high fence on either side with a spruce fence gate in the middle. We've got a sweet berry bush underneath, and then just some random leaves on top of those. For the next build, we have the overgrown tunnel, or overgrown railway, however you want to look at it. And yeah, this was built using a reference picture from Reddit, which I absolutely loved. As soon as I saw that picture, I knew I wanted to make it in Minecraft, so here it is. And this would definitely be a really cool idea for a railway in your survival world. It doesn't really matter if it runs through a jungle or not, as long as you just have this kind of open section that's been dug out. We've got walls on the left and right side with these big support pillars that go between them. And then down below we have our railway that obviously one would be going this way, the other one would be coming back towards us. And yeah, because it's in the jungle, we've added in a whole bunch of leaves and vines around the place. We've added some cracked stone bricks, regular stone bricks, mossy stone bricks, and also mossy cobblestone into the walls. And we've added some azalea and grass and stuff around the place in the bottom as well. We've also got this really cool design that I love with a little waterfall that comes down, and then it kind of trickles through this little crack in the ground using some stone slabs and stone stairs. Actually, I'm pretty sure they're all stone stairs, but yeah. For the next build, we have the mine railway. Now, I know it kind of sucks. This build just kind of stops here and here. When I'm building for Instagram, I'm obviously just building them as efficiently as I can. Obviously, the sides of this aren't really going to be seen. It's just kind of this view. I did not mean to leave. If I turn my FOV down, you can see this is kind of the view that it was, and that's all you can see. So that's why a lot of the builds showcased in these build ideas are kind of just like that. They're just lazily kind of cut off at the ends or whatever. But yeah, so for this one, we've got a whole bunch of railways down below. We've also got one up here that's supported on these pillars. We've got some that are sticking out from the rock, and then also that are sticking out from the ground. And so one of these railways leads into a little cave in here. Another one leads over this way, and then we have one above as well. So something cool for survival is you could maybe make this top one like a transport railway, and then the bottom ones you could use for separate mine entrances or something like that. And we've also just added a bunch of details around the place with some grass in some patches over here. We've added some little stones on the ground for some extra details. We've also added some stone stairs for like some cracks in the ground, andesite, and also some ores around the place as well. Next up, we have an escape pod that I made actually pretty recently. I just randomly had the idea to do this, and something as well that is really awesome is the shader pack that I'm using. It enables like this kind of reflection on the sides and stuff. I've added in these lights down here and up here as as well to kind of just emphasize the reflections a little bit more. And you can see we have this kind of 3D texture as well on the iron blocks, and it just looks really awesome. To get these reflections, all you need is complementary shaders, and you just have to turn on integrated PBR. I will eventually be making a video about my shaders and all of the settings that I have, so be sure to subscribe for that. But yeah, back to the escape pod, which have this really cool design. We've got like this circular pattern in here. We've got the window that leads out to what would be space. I've just got it set to daytime for the sake of visibility. We've got this really cool pipe design using some lightning rods that go into a copper block here. This was a regular copper block, one of these ones. It has since oxidized, so it's supposed to look like that. And yeah, those pipes lead over this way, and then back down here. We've got like a computer terminal here and another one up here as well. Next up, we have a couple of simple gate designs. Simple meaning that they're very easy to build and replicate. So yeah, for this first one, we have like kind of a medieval themed gate, and you could use this to kind of wall off a village or a kingdom or anything you wanted like that. And this would obviously be the entrance part, and you could just simply repeat this pattern here, obviously not with a big gap in the middle. You just fill all this in, and you could repeat that to the left and to the right of this for the walls. And yeah, we've also added some nice polished andesite texture, just a little bit of a light sprinkle around the place. Couple of lanterns as well with this nice design up here. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the medieval gate. For the next one, we have like a kind of wooden village themed gate. I don't really know what else to call this. We've got a nice kind of doorway instead of just a blank open kind of area as well, so it's a little bit more secure. We've got a pretty cool design over here on the left with some slabs and some azaleas down the bottom. We've also got some pot plants as well. And yeah, we've also got a walkway along here so that you can walk along. That block is supposed to be there. So yeah, you can walk along up here and defend your village from any mobs or anything like that. For the next gate, we have the ruined one. And so this one is pretty similar to the medieval one over there, except this time it is obviously ruined. We've got leaves around the place as if it's kind of been taking over the structure. We've got mossy cobblestone and mossy stone bricks as well integrated into it. Now, I wanted to keep the main archway here as well so that I could add some leaves up here, and so I could actually like dangle them down. It looks really cool. We've also got a neat little campsite in here as if someone has kind of moved into this structure and using it as like a little bit of a base area. For the final gate, we have the nature gate. I know this one isn't really much of a gate. It can't really keep anyone out. Well, I mean, same with the ruined one over there, but it is still a gate regardless. So yeah, this one's just a simple archway made out of a little bit of stone in here. We've also got some grass and dirt above that, obviously, and we've also got some grass, like actual grass pieces above that as well. And then as we walk through, as you can see, we've got some nice stone slabs and stairs to kind of keep under here looking nice and interesting. We've got some dripstone and some glowberries to keep it nice and bright as well. For the next build, we have the medieval path. And this one I know is pretty simple, but it is just a neat, simple design that you can add into your survival world if you need a pathway that leads to and from somewhere. So for this path, all we have is a pretty simple 2-wide path, and it's just textured with stone bricks, and andesite. We've also kept the path nice and interesting by adding some buttons around the place that act as little stones. We've also got some bigger kind of stones around the place as well, using some andesite blocks and also slabs and stairs as well, just to add a bit of variety to the stone design. And then as we come to this area here, we kind of have like a resting area. We've got a campsite over here. We've got a wagon as well. And then over to the left, we've got some storage blocks and just some more random decorations. Next up, we have a little campsite design. And this is actually a pretty cool starter base idea as well. If you love living aesthetically and not as efficiently as possible, then this is definitely a really cool starter base idea. So as you can see, we have a pretty decorated campfire here with a cauldron above it that you'd obviously use to cook in. We've got some nice seats around the place as well. We've got a log pile, an ore pile, and also a storage pile over here. Then we've got a couple of little tents around the place as well. We've got a bed in here, some storage and crafting and smelting. We've got pretty much the same thing over here as well. Then back here we have a nice horse stable section, and we've also got a cart design over here as well that's under a little roof. Next up, we're taking a look at 4 different ruined builds. The first one being a ruined tower. And this would pretty much just be a cool build to add into like your area, maybe your surrounding biome that you live in, if you want to have like a little bit of a landmark or something. And if you wanted it to be a more visible landmark, you could of course put a hay bale underneath this campsite in here, and that way your smoke will go up a lot higher. But yeah, so for this ruined tower, we pretty much just have like the remnants of a tower left here. We've got some stairs around the place to kind of add in a little extra detail. We've also added some leaves in. We've got them up here as well with some vines hanging down. We've also got this nice campsite in here as if some people have moved in and are like living out of the tower here. Next up, we have a bit of a ruined mine entrance. This one not as extremely ruined as the tower, but as you can see, we have like the obviously remnants of a mine entrance here. They've kind of like collapsed, and you can see some of the fallen logs here from above. We've got like a whole bunch of leaves and grass that have kind of taken over the interior as well, which give a really nice vibe to the place. And of course, if you wanted your railway to actually be usable, you can of course just link these back up and have them used. It will still look nice and fine. Next up, we have a ruined bridge design. This one is pretty simple and easy to build. We've got these pillars that are separated by 3 blocks, and we've got some slabs above here with some fences and fence gates above that. We've got some leaves and vines that have kind of taken over the place as well, and we've got a big separation in the bridge too, which which is something cool as well. We've only got an actual gap of 1 block, so this bridge is still perfectly usable. You just have to do a little jump between them. And yeah, that's it for the ruined bridge. And for the final ruined design, we have a ruined keep. And so this one would also be a pretty cool landmark, or even if you actually built the pristine version of this keep, which is right over here, and maybe you use this as a bit of a starter base or something like that, and you wanted to upgrade, something cool you could do is to just destroy it if you wanted to, and just kind of leave a skeleton of what your base once was, and you could come back and visit it later on and just kind of look at it, I guess. Next up, we have a simple bridge design. So this one is pretty easily recreated. All we've got is some pillars here that are separated by some fences and fence gates. Up here on the roof, we've got a simple slab design that transitions into some stairs up here and then back to a slab at the top, which gives a nice arch to it. And then the actual base of the bridge here is simply some extinguished campfires. We've also transitioned to those so it isn't so much of a harsh step, using some trapdoors here. And yeah, this also branches out to a little bit of a fishing platform or a kind of docking platform if you wanted to use it for that. For the next build, we have a bee sanctuary, and this one is pretty cool. It might be a little bit hard to recreate as we have this kind of sphere shape created with a whole bunch of glass, and then we have a nice wood trim that runs between those with an entrance on each side as well. So let's just head on through and take a look at the interior now. And in here we have a pathway that of course leads between all of the different entrances. At the back left section, we have a bit of a custom tree that's kind of grown against the glass and has spread up here. We've also got 3 separated little beehives around the place. These are on top of some scaffolding blocks to make it look like a bit of a support stand. Also, I don't know what's going on with these flowers here. They should be like that. Yeah, we've also got this neat little mini roof design above these as well that would kind of protect them from the rain. Although I don't know why I added this in, as it's protected by the glass anyway. But yeah, that pretty much does it for the bee sanctuary. Next up, we have a couple of waterfall designs of increasing size. The first one obviously being the smallest here. We just have a simple little waterfall that's on a bit of a rock, and that just leads out to a little pool. For the next one, we have a pretty big jump in size and also detail as well. We've got a bunch more stairs and slabs around the place to give a more smoothened look to the rock, and then that all pours out into this pond once again. We've added some stairs in there to give a bit of a nicer look so it isn't just so harsh of an angle, and also we've added a little lily pad in here as well. The next one is once again, of course, a little bit larger than the previous, and we've also got this nice staged waterfall design as well. So it first starts up here, then it comes down to a bit of a platform here, which then runs down into our now larger pond. This one's a little bit more decorated as well. We've got a lantern on top of a wall in here. We've got some seagrass, a little bit of texture going on, and also some more lily pads and leaves around the place as well. We've also added in sugar canes too. And then for the final waterfall, we've got pretty much everything we could add into a waterfall. We've got the stage design that runs down here, kind of stops along here, and then falls back down once again into our pond, where we've got pretty much every decorative block I could think of adding to a pond. We've got little stones, bigger stones, lily pads, seagrass, and just everything around the place. And also something cool about this one is on the side here, we've added a little bit of a cave entrance. Obviously it doesn't really lead to a cave. It's just kind of an entrance into like underneath the actual waterfall. And yeah, this would also actually make for a pretty cool mine entrance design as well, or even an entrance for a base if you wanted. You could just hollow this out a little bit more and just add in some stuff in here, or you could mine it down into a mine entrance. Next up, we have a couple of simple wall designs. The first one here being a medieval wall. So for this one, we have a simple kind of pillar design that is repeated, spaced apart by 1 block, and in between those, we've got an azalea, which has some rooted dirt below it, and also some stripped spruce blocks behind that. And yeah, this entire wall is pretty much just this section right here. It's just this 2 wide area that's been repeated just constantly, and that's what makes this pretty easy to build. Next up, we have a bit of a nether themed wall, and that we're using some polished deep slate blocks. We've got some stone behind that that has some stone brick texture as well, and then in between those, instead of adding like azalea or grass or something, we actually have some warped blocks. We've got twisting vines, warped roots, we've got warped fungus as well, and that's all on top of some warped nylium at the bottom. Next up, we have a bit of a palisade wall design. This one is a pretty cool design to add around a village, as it's pretty easy to make and it looks really cool as well. So we've simply got some stripped jungle wood, and that's kind of alternating between the back and then the front, and it's also alternating in heights. So we've gone from low and then up high, then kind of in between those, and then back low, back high, and yeah, you just kind of want to alternate between those. And also down below, kind of like a supporting area down here, we've got some stairs and trapdoors. For the final simple wall, we have another kind of medieval themed one, but this one is more of like a castle medieval theme, in that we have these towers on the sides, and then in between those, we have the actual wall design. This one's pretty similar to the other one, except instead of having stone on the outside and wood on the inside, we've got wood on the outside and then stone on the inside. And yeah, this one's just a bit more of a bigger and more established version of the previous this one over there. All right, and now onto the final 4 builds. We have 4 houses of the ages, the first one being the Stone Age base. Now this one would obviously only really suit a starter base as it is pretty small in here. All we could really fit in is a bed, a furnace, crafting table, a couple of chests, and a couple of barrels in the roof as well. And yeah, for this one, I've kind of replicated what would be a Stone Age house. We've got hay on the roof, it's made of stone. And also on the outside, we have this kind of primitive looking wheelbarrow design. And then over here, we have a little bit of a campsite on the outside as well. Onto the next stage, we have the Medieval Age. This one's a bit of an upgrade to the actual house design and the size. We've also got a bit more stuff on the outside. We've got a dock over here. We've got a little bit of a crop farm, an upgrade in our wheelbarrow design as well. And then we can head on inside and I can show you the bottom floor. Down here, we've got our crafting, little bit of storage and also some furnaces. We've got more crafting blocks over here. And then up to the second floor, we have our bedroom, a little bit more storage and some barrels and chests over here. And then over on this side, we have just some more crafting blocks and also a lectern as well. For the next stage, we have the Modern Age house. And I'm pretty sure this was actually the first ever modern themed house that I had ever made. So my apologies if it looks a little bit bland compared to some other ones that you might have seen. It's not exactly my style, but I just wanted to give it a go. So for this one on the outside here, we have a bit of a flower field going on. We've also got a pathway here that of course leads up to the entrance. Heading inside, we've got a kitchen design down here. We've got our staircase over here and our main storage area as well. Heading up the stairs, we have like a hallway that leads into our bedroom where we have a nice lamp design, some more personal storage. And then turning right from the bedroom out here, we have a bit of a barbecue design and also our balcony as well. And now for the final age, we have the Futuristic Age. I'm sure there's a better name for it, but that's just what I thought of at the time. And yeah, so for this one, as you can see, we have a base that's actually partially submerged, well, mostly submerged in the water. Up above it, we have our crop farm with a couple of bits sticking out for you to park your boats up to. Over at the back here, we have our elevator down. So the big green sign is obviously the entrance. The red sign is the exit. So we can head down into the entrance where we've got a bit of water down here to cushion our fall. Then we can head out into the actual base. And as you can see, it is pretty small, but we've managed to fit in a whole bunch of stuff. We've got a lot of furnaces up here. We've got some smokers and also blast furnaces down here as well. Towards the center front of the base, we have some little planters over here. We've got some flowers on this one, and then we've also got some more green plants on this one. We've got our bed in between those. And then on this side, we have our main storage wall with a whole bunch of barrels, chests, and also our crafting as well. And then in the center of the base, we've got a little island with some chests and barrels. And yeah, so that pretty much does it for every single build showcased in this video. So if you like this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe as it helps me out a lot more than you think. And also feel free to check out some more of my build designs right here. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.